So, Troy, you have been working. You are you're in a maintenance crew. Is that right?
Correct.
And where do you work? What's the place?
Well, Steve and I work together. We're maintenance fitters. We subcontracted to ExxonMobil through a company called UGL CAFA.
Okay, but you work on a gas platform, or oil platform, isn't it?
Correct, yeah. We work offshore remotely, about 70 to 90 kilometres offshore, off the coast of Victoria, heading towards Tasmania on a steel island out in the middle of the water.
Okay, and it's an oil? Yes.
Yeah, oil and gas.
Oil and gas, okay, great. So 70 to 90 k's off, you fly there on a helicopter?
Yeah, correct.
And you do a 7-day shift, something like that. Is it 7 or?
Yeah, we work for 7 days continuously, 12 to 16 hours a day.
Yep.
And then we come home for the subsequent 7 days.
Okay, because that's an important factor in this, isn't it?
Correct.
And so you're living on the platform, and yeah, okay, it's a solid 7-day shift. All right, so you've been working there how long?
I've been almost 10 years working offshore.
10 years, and Steve?
Yeah, I've been out there 15. Yeah, 15 now, finished that.
Okay, and how many people are employed by this company doing the maintenance on the?
We had 230 employees out there, ranging from mechanical fitters, painters, blasters, crane drivers, yeah, just a whole workforce of different tasks that they carried out.
Okay. Now, Troy alluded to it. You've been employed by a company called UGL.
UGL CAFA, yeah.
And they had a contract to do.
They had the maintenance contract for offshore, which we assisted the ESSO staff, or ESSO maintenance guys with shutdowns, just major facility updates and so forth. And yeah, we worked there we had 5 years, and then we believed we were going to be, well, Troy and I both thought it was bargaining in good faith with the company.
Yeah. Hey, I'll come to the bargaining.
Yeah.
I'll come to the bargaining, but I just want to get for everyone, because this is a really confusing thing. You work for UGL, who has a contract with ESSO.
ExxonMobil.
ExxonMobil.
ESSO, yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, we just get a 7-day roster as they do out there. We'll go out, and well, I had a crew of 5 blokes. Troy was much the same, and we would go onto a platform and do our tasks.
Yeah.
So you do your 12 to 16 hours, go inside, have a feed, go to your room, because that's about all you can do out there these days.
Yeah. Sounds glamorous.
Oh.
Sounds really glamorous. So, all right, so you're working for UGL. They've got the maintenance contract for this platform, 90 k's offshore. ExxonMobil run it. Now, ExxonMobil are an American company. They have an Australian subsidiary that you know?
Yeah, it's called ESSO Australia, which is...
So we've got layers of companies here. You work for one and has a contract with another, which has an American parent company, and it's sort of all...
We got a Senate inquiry going on down in Melbourne now with ESSO or ExxonMobil as to not paying taxes.
Yes.
And they're owned by a company in the Netherlands, which is owned by another company in the Bahamas. And the CEO of ESSO Australia doesn't know the owners. He doesn't know their names. So
sounds completely reasonable and transparent.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So you said earlier that UGL has an ongoing had an ongoing contract that expired in 2017.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Now you were bargaining. Your enterprise bargaining. When did your EBA run out? Your last enterprise?
It ran out in 2015, and we were like I said, in good faith bargaining with management.
Okay.
And
so you're doing all the steps. We're all familiar. A lot of people in the federal system are familiar with the palaver of enterprise bargaining. You're having regular meetings. There's a couple of unions on site, I understand.
Yeah. We've got the ETU, the Electrical Trades Union, and the Australian Workers Union as well.
Yeah.
The British scaffolders, and we set out to negotiate an EBA 6 months before our EBA expired in 2015.
Okay.
Like I said, yeah,
So
correct.
you start bargaining in 2015. You're bargaining during 2015. You're bargaining during 2016. You're still bargaining in 2017, some 2 years at the table, and something happens in June 2017, the contract changes.
Yes, correct. Well, when we say bargaining, they basically took our lot of claims, screwed it up and threw it in the bin, and they proceeded to put 5 offers down to us in those 2 years that we never had a part of, put them down and then just put them out to vote. So we didn't know that they were actually meeting with other members secretly and trying to negotiate separately outside of the union, and they were putting these offers down. So they basically
That wouldn't be good faith bargaining. Surely
No,
bosses
that's
don't
right.
do that. No, there's protections.
Well, exactly like you're saying, they were stalling because at the end of, on the 15th of June 2017, they made the entire workforce redundant, and then...
Okay, so the premise for making you all redundant was UGL finished its maintenance contract, yeah?
UGL Keiko, yeah, finished their maintenance
Right.
contract. Yeah.
So June 2017, so look, we haven't got the maintenance contract anymore, but someone else does and they'll employ you, was that?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So you show up for your next shift. So that, but what date was that? What date did the contract finish?
On the 15th of June, it
Okay.
finished for myself, and it was the 22nd of June for Steve.
Okay,
Being
so
opposite shifts, yeah.
yeah. So all this time you've been enterprise bargaining with UGL, and like you said, they're giving you offers, they're completely unacceptable, you're
Yeah.
not getting very far, you get stuck at the table, which
Yeah, correct.
many of our members in the federal system know what that's like.
Yeah.
You start at the table, suddenly something happens. UGL said, oh, we've lost the contract, but there's a new company coming in that's got the contract,
Correct.
and they will employ you.
Correct.
Right. So, okay, that sounds all good, doesn't it? Lovely. You've got nothing to worry about here. You show up for work, and they present what?
Well, they present us with a contract that cuts wages and conditions by up to 40%. It introduces an enterprise agreement that was voted on in Western Australia by 5 people. Who
Hey, oh, hang on, this doesn't sound right. Hang on, you're a crew of 250 odd people, you've been bargaining, you're trying to get an agreement, they offer something unacceptable, you can't make an agreement. You then show up with a new boss and they've got an agreement in place with other people.
Absolutely.
So who are the 5 people that voted this up?
No one has any idea. They were 5 people who hadn't worked with us. They hadn't worked on the job. They didn't have oil and gas experience. Yet they negotiated our wages and our conditions and had it endorsed through Fair Work.
And so the new agreement's got a cut in wages, as you said, 40%.
40%.
And I remember you telling me something about the, so I'll just backtrack. I understand as an oil and gas platform, when you have a maintenance problem,
Yes.
there's a spark thing, isn't there? What's
Yeah,
that?
that's right. I can explain that.
I'm not a technical person, you'll have to go slow with me on this.
So when we work offshore, we use air-driven equipment. We can't use electrical equipment that causes sparks because it's a dangerous gas explosive environment. So what happens is they were trying to introduce a stand-down clause. First thing was, one, instead of working week on, week off, they wanted to be able to employ us for up to 52 days at a time, on 1 day's notice, away from our families, our wives and our kids, and introduce at the same time this stand-down clause that you're talking about, which would mean if we went out to do our job and Exxon's air compressor broke down, which would stop us using our tools to do our work, they could then stand us down without pay until they got the parts to repair the air compressor.
So you'd be sitting on their plant in the middle of the ocean, not able to go home,
Yes.
and because of no fault of your own and their equipment's broken and you can't work, you don't get paid.
We don't get paid.
And other things in this wonderful EBA that you must have been delighted to see, other things that happen?
Yeah. I mean, there was a whole wealth of things. All the allowances, like night shift allowance, was cut. You know, we get a small off shift allowance because we'd have 4 people in a room that's probably 8 foot by 10 foot with 4 bunks in it. You know, you couldn't get changed without bumping into each other and things like that. The fatigue management was, we had a lot of studies and research to show that at the end of sort of like 7 days, if you might have 3 other that snore in your room, the cumulative sleep fatigue, I'm sure you guys are probably more aware of this than we are, is equivalent to, say, driving on the road at 0.05. So then we're saying you want to keep us at work for up to 52 days at a time, basically as if we're over 0.05, in a highly explosive environment that is supplying the state's grid.
Yep, yep.
So
So this new EBA isn't with UGL, it's a new company that's got the contract. Who's this new company?
well, I'm sorry to say the new company was exactly the same company, but under a registered, on a piece of paper like we call it, they went and registered a new ABN number, registered a business called MTCT Services. They had no staff, no employees, no management, and yet that was who we were going to work for.
Right, so new shop company takes over, okay, same people, except they did have 5 employees because somehow they miraculously negotiated an EA that was going to apply to you.
They were promised that, allegedly they were, the union tells us that they were promised jobs, but it wasn't to be seen.
So what do you do? Did you take it or what did you do?
Absolutely not. We stood, we took a stand, we got with our members, and we fought like absolute hell to get them on our side and say, we need to stand up, we need to fight back, because we can see exactly where this is going to go, and we need to protect every other company, every other worker in Australia, because we are just the gate
Yeah.
that is coming down.
Yeah.
We're the house of cards, we're the top of it, and we can see a collapse happening everywhere.
So when you say you fought, did you go back to work or have you not been working?
We refused to accept that contract,
Yeah.
and every single one of us.
You refused to accept the contract, but this is June last year.
337 days ago today.
And you've been off work or on strike, taking a protest against this unfair deal since then.
Absolutely. 337 days. And it wouldn't be without the support of our wife and our kids.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be.
How many of you are doing this?
We've come down to about 30 guys down the picking line, which we just roster. It's 24/7. It's becoming a home away from home.
You set up at the...
Yeah, we've got our there are our containers over. You
Yeah.
can go back one slide. Something.
Oh,
There are containers we've set up there. That's our camp. We've got one container there, another container which were from the CEB dispute, and that's about as much as we can do. We had.
Where's that, Steve? Where's
Yeah,
that?
it's on. It's called Longford, Garrett Road, Longford, which is about 3.5 hours from Melbourne.
And that's the
main road into the gas plant.
Into the plant, okay, but that's a pad to fly off to the plant or something.
No, well, that's down further where we're not supposed to be, but we do go down there.
You alluded to this to me earlier this morning. You're not supposed to be talk.
No, what happened was when we set up camp here, this lovely company called ESSO, Dick Bay owned the whole freaking state down there. So we set up camp, and then all of a sudden we had legal eagles coming down to make sure that we were on Crown land, not their land. And they're starting to say, well, hang on, that's our land. We go, no, that's Crown land, we could be there. So they decided to put up extra security fence on the Crown land, which they were told to put on the perimeter of their land, but they went to the council and said, we're going to leave it there. And now we've just been hit with we've got to be 640 metre radius from the heliport, because we're naughty people and
You said that's been made through court?
Yeah, we actually, I don't know whether people are familiar, we had Scabby the Rat. Yeah, well, we had a federal court order to pull him down in 2 days.
2 days?
2 days for that. We had megaphones, scissor lifts, just to say hello to these lovely people, and 2 days, a Supreme Court order.
So, the Supreme Court makes orders about where you can and can't protest within 2 days. I presume you've been down to Fair Work to try and get some Fair Work Commission to get some relief about...
Who's that?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we've got a different terminology for the Fair Work, and it's not Fair Work.
No.
But it's funny enough that the chairperson of Fair Work used to be head IR of ExxonMobil. And now we've got another company called AMA, which is Australian Mines and Minerals. Well, the chairperson there is also chairperson of ExxonMobil. So you talk about privatised, there it is down there.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I just want to touch on the personal costs for you guys. So aside from it, and Troy alluded to it earlier, you know, how do you support yourselves?
Good question. After 337 days, you start to, you know, think about things and whether your self-worth. We keep asking ourselves, what did we do wrong? Why did we get?
Nothing.
What did we do wrong?
Nothing.
Because
Absolutely nothing.
You're doing the right thing.
You got screwed over.
Oh, absolutely.
Just like
And
every other worker in
sorry,
Australia.
it's just still. But we just got to keep going because our mission is this doesn't happen again in Australia. People keep asking us, what are you going to do when you're finished? I don't know. We don't know how long this is going to go. Some people look at us a bit funny, but we haven't thought that far ahead. This is a major problem this country's got. Unless we all stick together, shoulder to shoulder, we've got to show this government what the hell's going on in this country, and it's not good. Fight for change the rules. We want to see. Troy's got young kids, my kids. Well, they're grown up and they're still frigging at home, but we want them to be going and get a full-time job, get a home loan, and enjoy life like we did.
Yeah.
But the sad part is that they haven't seen the real struggles, and what we do is we just travel around Australia. We went to Perth, we had to talk to those boys over there with the same or similar EB to us, and we got a phone call back that they've voted it down that EB. They don't want that EB, but that's UGL as well. So
Yeah.
wherever UGL, I mean, UGL don't like us at all, but we'll keep giving it to them. So
Look, Steve and Troy, I want to say thank you for coming today, but what you've done by coming here today isn't the thing. We want to say thank you, and I think all working people owe you an enormous gratitude and your colleagues for what you're doing here. You've made a principled, important stand, a line of sand about where this Act and where our laws should be operating and how they should be operating. Because right now, what happened to you guys is shit. And without people like you pointing it out, I presume that is a paper. We're allowed to swear.
oh, sorry about that.
We'll cut that out of the live feed later. But yeah, what you're doing is vitally important, not just for yourselves, but for everyone. But is the plant still operating?
Yeah, it's still operating, and like it was about us and our guys down there. We want their jobs back, but it's not about us anymore. It's about them. It's about these people. It's about the rest of the country too. I mean, it's a big task, but if we don't get out there and start doing what we're doing now, people still don't know about a dispute.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, they've been on social media, but we tend to find that rank and file is the only way we're going to get communication to people and understand what's going on.
Well, look, I'd like to say thank you on behalf of the PSA, but I think everyone here wants to say thank you. So, Steve and Troy, thank you.